Happy Thanksgiving. Anyways, this is not a laughing matter. This is about a CPS. But what does CPS stand for? It stands for Child Profiters Service. And our subject today is how they take children hostage and they kidnap children for profit. So let me explain that in detail. Okay, for you women out there, I know you can keep up pretty easy because you have that intuition, and for you men, I'll try to slow it down and you can always rewind this broadcast. I will start by talking about my only child. Okay, her name is Sally Mae, and she was born on September 11th, 2010, so that would make her just over a year old. And I've been with her mother even before she was born, and I've been taking care of her as a father would. I have been with the mother, and she has two children. She has a little boy who is 9 years old, and she has a little girl who is she's 12 years old. And anyways, so I'm going to break it down for you on how CPS is actually a profiter's system, and it prevents. Now, women, don't get upset about those guys that run off because they have good reason. Okay, I have forbearing knowledge and proof that CPS will prevent the man from a man who really loves their child and wants to be with their child. It will prevent them from that happening through the courts, through the litigations. Now, let's see here. Where do I start? Okay. And the reason being, first of all, we can start with the DNA that they took at birth by my child. Okay, when she was born in the hospital, and they took her DNA. I didn't even know. I was tired from helping with the birth. I was there. Hello. Here I am, doing everything I can that a father would for their child. And so, of course, the sneaky lady, when she came in, I was passed out. Everybody was sleeping basically, and she came in. We didn't know who it was, and she just automatically she took the blood, and she was already down the hall before I even found out who it was. So from the start, I really didn't have much control, and I made a complaint to the hospital, but nevertheless they tried to pass it off like, they were protecting her. It goes into this disease database, which isn't true. They're tracking everybody. So at birth, from cradle to grave, once I attach myself as a father, then now the state has good reason to profit off of my attachment. That's the whole point. So here we go. I've been doing my thing for over a year now. I've been handling Sally. I've even been taking care of the other kids. And well, Trevor, I love him. I love him as my own son. His real dad is in jail. Go figure. But let's face it, he's a problem child. He's hard to deal with. At any rate, he's obsessed with video games. He goes to his friends, he plays video games, and he comes back, he's huffing and puffing, and I notice he has a scratch on his neck. I'm like, Trevor, what happened? Well, every time I beat my friend in video games, we start to wrestle. Anyways, I probably wouldn't even let him go out without cleaning his room. But anyway, Nevertheless, Sally, she is able to start reaching stuff on the table now, more and more. She's reaching things, and I'm sitting here trying to tell everybody, hey, you know, you got to keep stuff out of reach. Anyways, so sure enough, she's reaching up, she grabs off the table, she grabs a full glass of water, and it spills everywhere. And that's when I wake up, and of course I'm upset. Trevor's not even supposed to be up. He's on the computer, and I say, "Hey, Trevor, you gotta pick up this mess." And he talks back. He says, "You're annoying." And then I say, "Well, you're gonna pick this up, or you're gonna get off the computer." And then, you know, so his reply is, I mean, these are kids, you know. This is what they do. His reply is, you know, shut up. Well, at that point, I have to discipline this kid. Okay, I have to remove him from the situation. Okay, he's obviously not following directions. I have to get him out of the room so I can clean up the water so I don't slip on it. Trevor doesn't slip on it. Sally doesn't slip on it. Whatever. And he doesn't, you know, he doesn't take well to discipline. So he's throwing a tantrum. Well, he's upset with me. And next thing you know, his mom wakes up, sees a scratch on his neck, and she's concerned because she knows how the school is, okay? And so she says, she's like, "Oh no, this is going to be CPS," because she knows that if a teacher sees that, well, that's what's going to happen. And sure enough, that's what did happen. Now, I'm not able to discipline him because he knows what he can do to get away with how he can act without being disciplined. And this is the purpose of the schools. The schools are so concerned with their liability or negligence of the actual situation that they are going, that they're going to report something as being child abuse when it's not. Of course, Trevor, being Trevor, he's upset with me because I'm not letting him play games. I'm trying to discipline him, and I'm just not letting him do what he wants to do as a kid. So of course he's going to say, yeah, he's going to remember this morning how I didn't let him do what he wanted, and he's going to blame me for it. And sure enough, so next thing you know, I have, this fast forward to later on the evening, and I have my baby Sally with me as usual, because Laura works nights, and well, this time she's going to go pick up the kids, but they weren't there. And get this, she went to the school. It was this is in Lincoln, Nebraska. She went to Lincoln Public Schools, and this was Waverley Elementary, and she asked the principal, "Well, where's Trevor?" And his reply was, "The police took your children, but we don't have a contact number, and we don't know where they are." Okay, right there is a red flag. Okay, because that's what happened. Now, she was never part of this investigation, but nevertheless, she wasn't able to find her kids. She had to actually track a kid down that knew her other kids on the bus for the kid on the bus to tell her that Trevor was taken by the police because of a scratch on his neck. Now, finally the police got a hold of Laura, and they told Laura they told Laura, because of course there was a secret investigation for the big bad man, yours truly, and they told Laura, "We have the kids with us, and we're waiting at your address," knowing that that's where I was. so they can question me. And sure enough, Laura comes into the house and I let her in. And because I would not let any police officers in this day and age, I wouldn't talk to anybody. Even if they're dressed as police officers, they could be somebody else. I don't let anybody in my home unless they have a warrant. And sure enough, they come barging in and they're recording without even, they're recording me without even asking. And we found out that they didn't even have the kids with them. And so there's a fine line between child protection and then child profiting service. They did not care about those children. There's a fine line between actually protecting children and being accountable for those children and hostage taking and hostage negotiations. And as a result, my child that was with me was kidnapped. I was threatened to have her put in foster care. They told me that I will not have children in my home, or they will go to foster care until the day of court, and that is on December 15th. This is a serious situation that I have to deal with. So then all they have to do is get a scratch, and they don't even have to be accountable for those kids. They will use those kids. They don't have to do anything. All they have to do is accuse somebody and then send them to court, and they profit from the children. That is the purpose of CPS, Child Profiters Service.